Hi everybody, hope you're keeping safe and well. It's time again for our Learning Powers videos, and this week I am focusing on sharing the learning power reflectiveness with you. So the learning power of being a reflective learner and being able to reflect on what we do so that we can hopefully improve it for the next time. So just a quick recap on our 4 learning powers that we now have. So the 4 R's of resilience, which is our Percy Penguin, reciprocity, resourcefulness, which I've shared with you already, is Bertie Beaver, and reflectiveness, which is the learning power that we're focusing on today. So to start with then, what does it mean to be reflective? So I've got my definition here, and to be a reflective person means to be capable of deep thought. So maybe a quiet time where you might go into deep thought about something or someone or an experience that you have had. So being reflective is about taking time to think deeply about something. And we can see here 2 images on this slide of a young boy who looks like he's in a classroom, sitting at a table with his pencil in his hand, so he's probably doing some work in his classroom, and he looks like he is in deep thought. Now, it could look like he's just daydreaming, but I don't think that's what's happening there. I think he's working away at something, and perhaps he's got stuck on something, perhaps he's finding something a little bit hard, or perhaps he's finished his task and he's reflecting, he's thinking about what he has done. And then the other picture that you can see is a picture of a little clock that says time for reflection. And it is really important that we have the time for reflection in every day that we go through, really. I often use my time when I'm driving to school or driving home from school as my time to reflect on the day ahead. So to think about the day that's coming, or the day that I've just had. So to think about things that have happened in that day, and I reflect on how I dealt with them, what happened, could I have done it differently, do I need to do something more? So it is really important to allow yourself to have that time to reflect on things that you've done and things that you've learned. So in order to be a reflective learner, to be a person who reflects on their learning and on the things that they have done, it means that you need to do the following things. So we've got thinking ahead and planning your resources. So to be a reflective learner, you need to plan. You need to think ahead and think about what's going to come. We can't really be a reflective learner if we do everything off the cuff without any planning or any advanced thinking. So you need to think ahead and plan what you're going to need in your task that you're about to complete. You need to use what you know in new areas of learning. So where you're starting with something that might be completely new, I'm pretty sure that there'll be something that you already know that will help you with what you are about to learn. We don't often start completely from scratch with something, so there's always something that you've already learnt that can help you with new learning. Knowing how you learn best, including your strengths and weaknesses. So some people learn best by watching others do it. Some people learn best by having a go themselves. Some people learn best by very visual ways, so having things drawn out or drawing diagrams themselves, planning things out in great detail. But it's really important as well to be reflective, to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, so to know what the things that you're really good at are and the things that you might need a little bit more practice with. And then finally, to be a reflective learner, you need to monitor how things are going and revise your plans when needed. So throughout what you're doing, just keep checking in with yourself. How is it going? How am I doing? Do I need to change something here? Is there something I can do a bit different to make it a little bit more successful? Constantly going through that process and changing things where needed. When you're going through learning, it's not set in stone. It's always possible to change things so that it works best for you. Okay, so Our reflective learner then is our crow, Clive the Crow, and I think that he is one of my favourite characters. His demonstration of being reflective is definitely one of my favourite. And again, I will post the link to the video of the crow and how that animal shows the reflectiveness learning power that we're focusing on, and I think it's absolutely one of my favourite. You might remember it when we've seen it before. It's where he's trying to drop the nut from a great height to crack the shell open so that he can get the nut that's inside, and I think what the crow does in order to make that work is just incredible. So please do watch that video. So Clive Crow then and his story. I'm Clive Crow and I am a reflective learner. I love to eat all sorts, but my favourite thing is a nut. Eating a nut is tricky because the tasty goodness is hidden inside a hard shell that my beak just cannot break no matter how hard I peck at it or how high I drop it. Luckily for me, my nest is just above a crossing, and I have realised I can use the cars that pass by to help me get into my treat. I have seen cars crush cans and bottles on the road, so I know they can solve my problem. It is a risky business though. I have to plan very carefully when to drop my nut and when to collect it. I do not want to get squished. My careful planning and hard work is well worth it when I get to nibble on the nut. So in that story then, what was Clive Crow doing that demonstrated the reflectiveness? He was monitoring how things were going and revising where it was needed. So he knew that his beak couldn't crack that nut open. He needed to drop it on a hard surface. But he knew that the cars travelling on the road were a danger to him. So he needed to change that slightly and find somewhere where the cars would stop. So that's why he went to the pedestrian crossing. So he dropped the nut at that point, and then when the cars stopped, he'd swoop down and pick the nut up. Really, really clever. Knowing how you learn best, including your strengths and weaknesses. He definitely demonstrated that. He knew that his beak wasn't strong enough, so he needed to do something differently. Using what you know in new areas of learning. He was doing that as well. He knew that he needed a hard surface on the road to drop the nut on. Thinking ahead and planning your resources. He did that as well. So lots of reflectiveness going on in Clive's actions. So be a reflective learner then. Demonstrate that with your learning and it will help you improve. Think about how you can improve. Think about how you can use those learning powers that I've introduced so far with your learning to help you be the best that you can be and to help you really develop that growth mindset. Okay, so that's me for this week. Just a couple of things to mention. Mr. Butt and Mr. Armitage are setting those weekly PE challenges for you. They're on the website for you to have a go at. Make sure that you're getting involved with those, because I know from my own experience at home with my daughter, it's not as easy to want to go outside in this kind of weather. It's cold, it's wet. So do those PE challenges to keep yourself active. It's really, really important. And I know that Mr. Butt and Mr. Armitage would love to hear from you. So please do send an email to pe@riddlesdenstmarys.co.uk with maybe some photos of you doing those PE challenges, or let them know what scores you've got, how much you've improved. They'd absolutely love to be hearing from you. We are looking to do a PE Star of the Week certificate as well in our weekly celebration worship. So if you contact Mr. Butt or Mr. Armitage, then you never know, it might be you that's mentioned in our celebration worship. So please do get involved in that. Okay, and that's me done for now. So stay safe, keep working hard. We've been incredibly impressed with the learning packs that we've got back this week. Lots and lots of you working really, really hard at home. So well done. Keep it up. Please don't forget you can get in touch with us anytime. We are here to help. And hopefully we'll see you really soon. Okay, bye.